Now don't get me wrong, I love photography. But for some reason nobody likes to talk about the worst parts of photography, so I will. What is going on, guys? My name is Charles Kent. Welcome back to another video. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I appreciate it. Now, this video is more me just kind of venting about some of the aspects of photography that I find to be either the most troublesome or the most annoying. So beginner photographers or people looking to get into photography, don't let this keep you from doing it. Photography is amazing. It gives me a sense of absolute peace whenever I go out and I shoot photos. It's a great hobby to get into, so do not let this keep you from pursuing photography as either a hobby or into something more. So with that being said, point number one, the cost of entry. Photography is extremely expensive, every facet of it. If it's made for photography, it is expensive. First, you need to get a camera body. You need to get a lens. You need to get a camera bag to carry all of that equipment. You need to get a cleaning kit to keep all that equipment clean because you just spent thousands of dollars on all of that stuff. Now, obviously there's ways around it. You could start with your phone. Personally, I took some of my first photos that I was proud of on my phone. That is always an option. You can buy an entry-level mirrorless or DSLR camera and just deal with the kit lens for a while. But it doesn't really take long before you're looking to upgrade that lens, or depending on the camera body, upgrade the entire camera body and the lens. Photography is just expensive. Camera bodies themselves can cost upwards of $1,000 and lenses even more so. And like I said, there's always ways to save a little bit of money by buying used, buying hobbyist kind of gear, using your phone, buying vintage gear. I love vintage gear, so there will be another video talking about vintage lenses and stuff like that coming up in the future. The cost of entry is extremely high. And that brings me to point number two. Imposter syndrome affects all photographers. Pretty much every photographer that I've ever talked to has went through imposter syndrome in some way, shape, or form. It's absolutely horrible. You could have been taking photos for 10, 20, 30 years, and sometimes you just kind of feel like you're faking it. And it doesn't help that you look online and you see people taking these amazing photos and they're using budget gear, and you start to think to yourself, why can't I do that? Now, imposter syndrome is something that comes and goes. You have to remember that photography is very subjective. You may think something looks amazing, but another person may think that it just isn't that good. So imposter syndrome is something that you just kind of have to take with a grain of salt. People think your work is good. If you think your work is good, then your work is good, and you don't need to doubt yourself in any way, shape, or form. And that brings me to point number three. Social media is a blessing and a curse, especially when it comes to photography. We now have the ability to be able to share our work with such a wide audience from across the globe. It's honestly amazing, but it contributes a lot to imposter syndrome. When you see these people, these other photographers, taking these just amazing photos, it makes you feel like you aren't good enough. Or at least in my case, it has made me feel like I wasn't good enough on multiple accounts. Something to keep in mind is that the comparison kills creativity. They're practically opposites. The more you compare your work with another's, the less drive you're going to have to go out and be creative and do things differently. Now, as photographers, we all love sharing our work, but with social media, our work can get buried and never seen, and that is extremely discouraging. Now, with all that being said, I love photography. It is an important part of my life. I love going out and shooting photos. I wouldn't trade the feeling it gives me for really anything else. As photographers, we can get hung up and we can lose motivation and we can feel as though we're not good enough. But as long as you're happy with your photos and you keep in mind that photography, like any art, is extremely subjective, screw everything else. Screw the doubt, screw the imposter syndrome, screw the algorithm that keeps your work from being seen. Just keep having fun, keep posting, keep taking photos. That's all that really matters. As long as you're happy, then screw everything else. Now, I know this has kind of just been a quick little rant about a few things that bug me when it comes to photography. Let me know in the comments if this is something you guys agree with. Especially let me know how many of you guys have suffered imposter syndrome and have at one point felt like your work wasn't good enough. But again, thank you guys for listening to my rant, my TED Talk, whatever you want to call it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys enjoyed the video, please drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and if there's a bell, hit the bell. There will be another video coming out about 3 things that I love about photography at some point, because I can't just drop a video like this and not have an opposite. So look out for that. It'll be coming at some point. Again, I'll stop rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day.